Hey everybody, it's Joseph again. This is my video that I mentioned I was going to make with regards to Tom Flores. As you can see here is a picture of Tom Flores and myself in 2018 at the Carson game against the Chargers. As you can see my shirt, I do have a shirt that's anti-Chargers. It does say the real LA team. The Oakland Raiders are beloved in Oakland and Los Angeles. Don't forget they were in Los Angeles close to 15 years where they won a Super Bowl. The only team in modern history in the last 30, 40 years in Los Angeles that won a Super Bowl were the Raiders in Los Angeles. The reason why I'm showing you this picture was, as you all know, earlier this weekend, Tom Flores was denied entrance into the Hall of Fame. Excuse me. And that's why I'm kind of making this video to let you know my personal thoughts about that. This year, the NFL celebrated 100 years of existence in the NFL. And I personally thought would have been a great opportunity, especially with this weekend falling on Martin Luther King Day. And Dr. King represented hope, not only for the African American community in our country, but all of us of color, minorities, young, old, women, children, and you know what? All Americans, whether you be white, black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, Muslim. So an opportunity, in my opinion, was missed. When you have a coach like Tom Flores, who has a distinction, as I mentioned yesterday on the panel with Zenny62, of only two individuals in the NFL to not only have won a Super Bowl as a player, as an assistant coach, and as a head coach. Only two people in the entire NFL has achieved this great accomplishment, and that is Mike Ditka, who we all think is a great coach, and Tom Flores. So the question is, why didn't Tom Flores make the cut? Let's think about who did make the cut. Jimmy Johnson, NFL analyst on national TV. Bill Cowher, CBS analyst, national television. Those two individuals, you know, I'm not here to bash anybody, so they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. But unquestionably, Tom Flores does as well. Now, if you were listening yesterday, Vinny, who's also a contributor here on Zenny62, pointed out that they decided last year, as he put it, punt the decision and make the decision this year to put him in. We all believed he was going to get in to celebrate the 100 years. Again, got to reiterate, you have, in these two individuals, Mike Ditka and Tom Flores, a unicorn, so to speak. To achieve such great accomplishments like this is rare. Again, to reiterate, Tom Flores won a Super Bowl as a player, as an assistant coach, and as a head coach. In Oakland, in Los Angeles, he was here. He is beloved. Raider Nation loves him. I think true NFL fans really appreciate his accomplishments and really think what a classy guy this man is. The other thing I wanted to point out is we don't always think, maybe myself, when you think about the NFL, you think about great players. We don't really think about where their background's from or where they're from. And it is somewhat unusual that you have a lot of players of Latin descent maybe that we know of in the NFL. Ironically enough, before I made this video, I did a little research, and it turns out, which is very enlightening, and I'm going to point this out, is that there has been a lot of players, unbeknownst to me and maybe to you out in the audience, who were of Latin or Hispanic descent, whatever acronym or whatever words you want to use, that were in the NFL, and we just don't know. I think a lot of us think that when we think about Latin players or what's the role in the NFL, we tend to think one-sided and think that all these players have to have Spanish surnames. And we forget that Latinos and Hispanics are like any other group of people. Some have English surnames, some have German surnames, some have French surnames, as my ancestors did. And some have English last names. Because we're as diverse as they come. There are Latinos that are black, there are Latinos that are white, and there are Latinos that are, for lack of a better word, tan. One particular, and this is a shout out to Zenny, is UC Berkeley coach Joe Cap. He is Latino. Joe Cap got his name from his German ancestors. He also attended UC Berkeley. He was born, I believe, I'm going to read some of the notes that I made here. He was born in Santa Fe, New Mexico, grew up in Southern California, and later on moved to Northern California, where he attended UC Berkeley, and was also a Super Bowl quarterback. I believe he was with the Vikings when he was actually a Super Bowl quarterback. Another one, I try to research some things, and one of the earliest that I found was a gentleman by the name of Lou Molnett. He was another individual from Hispanic Cuban descent. And he was born in 1904, and he played for the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets in 1927. He also attended Cornell University. So, again, do we kind of, in this situation here, do we forget some of these players' nationality and impact in the NFL? And is it important? Maybe for some of you it isn't, but it is, especially now when you live in a society that we tend to be singled out. You know, we have an administration in the government that believes anybody with a Spanish name is an illegal, shouldn't be here. And so it's important to recognize these people and say, wait a minute, we're just as American as anybody else. Some of us may or may not have Spanish surnames, but it doesn't change who we are or what we are. And for anybody to distinguish us or appreciate our accomplishments more because we don't have a Spanish last name, or less because we do, that's something to think about. We all know great NFL quarterbacks like Jim Plunkett. He's an American of Mexican descent. Tom Flores is also an American of Mexican descent. So when an opportunity to show the NFL's diversity, and when you have someone like Tom Flores, who's more than deserving to be in the Hall of Fame, be ignored and be passed up again, that's an insult, not only to the NFL celebrating 100 years, but it's an insult to everybody that's a Raider fan and anybody that's an NFL fan. So in this day, Martin Luther King, please, like I mentioned before, take an opportunity to listen to I Have a Dream speech. Realize that he spoke for all Americans, regardless of your color, race, or creed. And hey, let your voices be heard. If you're disappointed that Tom Flores was ignored and should be in the NFL Hall of Fame. So just some food for thought there, and hope to talk to you again soon. See you later.